Hey guys, welcome back. It's Luis with LLJ Customs. Today I'd like to go over the new release that we have, our Elite system. Some of you guys have seen it on our new website. Some of you guys have not. Please take a look at the website. Tell us what you think. Give us some feedback. The website is built for you guys, obviously. We know how the product works. We want to make sure that our website is designed and makes you guys feel more comfortable about approaching your own install. So to start off, I want to go ahead and start with the most standard, if you will, layout for our Elite system. This is going to be our T-harness. The T-harness is ideal for situations where you're only going to be either installing a subwoofer or you're planning on running your own cables after the aftermarket amplifier. So whether you're installing an LC2i Pro, whether you're doing a Link 2, or whether you're going to go all out and do something like a BassRESTOR from WaveTech, we want to go over what the different options do, what they offer, and what harness would be ideal depending on your configuration, depending on your install, depending on whether you already have the equipment, or whether you're going to buy new equipment, or what your overall project is going to be. So please watch the whole video. This is based, and this whole video is going to be based on questions that our customer service reps get, which are also the technicians that work on the harnesses. So this video is meant to both help you guys out, but also be used for our future technicians as training so that they can also get an understanding of what our products do. Without further delay, I'll go ahead and get started on this, and then I'll drop snippets in the YouTube with the times of where the different sections will start. So we're going to go over the T-harness, we're going to go over the loop harness, and then we're going to go over the different amplifier layout configurations, high level, low level, what it all means, what it does, and when you can use it. So in this case, here we have an LC2i Pro. The LC2i Pro is a great standard unit to start off with, whether you're going to be doing a 4-channel amp or you're doing a subwoofer amp. The LC2i Pro gives you AccuBass. Quick note on AccuBass. AccuBass will not add any missing subwoofer frequencies. It's not what it's meant for. That would be something that you would get with the Epicenter or something that you would get with the BassRESTOR. The LC2i Pro, the AccuBass technology that's also in their L.C amplifiers, is really meant for bringing back any dips in those bass frequencies, but it will not add missing bass frequencies. So if your vehicle just doesn't have, say, 30 to 50 hertz, this will not magically put it in there. It doesn't create, it doesn't introduce, it doesn't put in the missing frequencies. It just helps you bring back the dip. So if you do have the 30 to say 100 hertz, and once you go, say, halfway past the volume on your head unit, you have the bass roll off, right? The bass frequencies dip out to keep those speakers, those diaphragms from overheating, right? From overexerting themselves. And so what this does is it'll help bring back whatever that goes missing. It'll help bring it back up to a level that's usable based on how you tune it. You have what we would consider to be high level or speaker level. That is going to be any signal before it goes into a processor, a DSP, a passive L.L.C, or in this case, an active L.L.C, which we call as a processor. There's a lot of different people. There's a lot of different terminologies. There's a lot of different ways to go about it. This is an active processor, something like an LP72 or the Access, 2-unit L.O.C, or the Scosh 2-channel L.O.C. Those would be passive L.O.Cs, and basically the main difference is an active L.O.C actively works on allowing you or the unit itself bettering the signal, offering a better audio quality of frequency of signal, versus a passive L.O.C that uses sometimes they use resistors to slow down or decrease the signal intensity. And then on the other side, they give you something like a 1 or a 2 volt signal, which would then be considered a low level. So a low level would be anything on this side that is lower than, honestly, it used to be about 4 or 5 volts. Most anything nowadays on the low level will take anything below 10 volts. Speaker level on some of like the GM vehicles, the Fords, the Rams, anything past, I'd say about a 1/4 inch of volume, you're outputting somewhere between 8 and 12, volts high level. So you cannot use that as an input, right? Because the amplifiers may not be able to take that kind of voltage through the input, through the low level input, and so you wouldn't be able to use a direct wire in from, in this situation, a head unit or an aftermarket amplifier that may put out, 25, 30, even 40 volts on some of the Mercedes. So in this case, speaker level coming from the factory system after it's processed, low level, or RCA, right? We're all familiar with RCAs. So back to how the harness works. That was a little talk about the processors and kind of the terminology, and that's going to help us determine some things in the future as we're building our system. The T-harness, however, is a very basic component. It's been around for years. This isn't anything new. L.L.J. Customs, we basically just perfected it, made it look nice, and we integrated it with vehicles that there was no solutions for. 2017, we came out with the Bose T-harness. That was something that I believe there was another company that was building something similar that was just for 1 or 2 vehicles, and we set out to find something that worked across all platforms that had that amplifier. We were not looking to nickel and dime our customers, and so we did not want to create a product that was only vehicle specific and then you couldn't use for anything else. So our Bose harness will work for vehicles from 2013 all the way up to 2019 before the wiring changes inside. And then you're going to have, what we have is the Bose harness, which is 2019 and up. As far as we know from now, from the specs that we have, from the vehicles that we have seen, we know it'll probably go all the way up to 2025. So, it's an investment that's going to last you a good 5, 6, possibly even 7 years, depending on when those manufacturers decide to change the plugs on us. So what does a T-harness do? What is a T-harness? Well, a T-harness provides just signal. It's the most basic explanation that I can give for it. It taps into the factory signal here. Say this would be, you would take the plug out of your radio, plug it in here, and you would take this and then plug it into your radio. And what it does is it'll work in between to steal and hijack that signal to feed it into a processor, whether that be an L.C.2i Pro, whether you're doing something maybe a little bit more standard with like a Link 2 that doesn't offer the AccuBass or the main output. If you wanted to say go into a 2-channel or a 4-channel amplifier through RCAs, and you're not worried about front and rear fade, you only care about the left and the right because that's all that's going to provide. And we'll go into why that is in a second. And you want to do a Link 2, which is a same unit. It's going to provide your DC offset. Let me zoom in here. It's going to give you a DC offset turn on. It's going to give you audio turn on. You're going to have load detect. That's extremely important for you Ram, Jeep, Chrysler guys. You have your gain, obviously. The gain is not a volume. We're going to go over what that is in a second. And you have your clip light. Clip lights are extremely useful. You're going to see that this is true. They call it, audio control calls it a maximize light. WaveTech calls it a clip light. Everybody has the term and technology for it because obviously, nobody wants to get sued for, copying or infringing unless you're PAC. And so you have a series of devices that all use very similar technology, but they name it a different thing because, well, they can say, oh, we're not copying, whatever the thing is. These devices all work great. There's a reason why we carry audio control and we carry WaveTech. We don't pick sides. We don't care to pick sides. We care to provide the best solutions on the market for the different level of expertise and understanding that are out there. Awesome. So with all that said, let's talk about the best choice in units. One of the probably top 8 questions that were asked, besides what's the difference between these L.L.Cs, who's a better brand, what do they offer, who offers the better warranty. The fact of the matter is audio control offers a really good warranty. They give a 5-year warranty on all their products. And what we've decided a long time ago when we started the company is that we like that idea. And so, in all truth and all honesty, our 5-year warranty comes from Audio Control's 5-year warranty. We felt that if they were so confident that their product would last at least 5 years, and we knew that our product was made with the best possible wiring, installation, connectors, materials. We said we're going to back it up with a 5-year warranty. Well, that's extended across everything that we sell. And the biggest reason being is because now that we've been in business for a severe period of time now, going on 4 years, we've been able to test our products since 2015, 2016, when we started the development of what LLJ Customs was eventually going to become. And so with that said, all of our products have a 5-year warranty. Whether it's WaveTech, it doesn't matter. If once it's past their 1-year warranty, we'll throw it in the trash, we'll send you a new one. Or we'll try to repair it. If it can't be repaired, we'll throw it in the trash, we'll send you a new one. It's not a big deal. We stand behind the product. We stand behind our harness. We stand behind our warranty. We stand behind our customer service. And so with all that said, I'm going to answer another question, and that is, what is the best L.L.C. to buy? The best L.L.C. to buy is BassRESTOR. You're probably wondering, well, why'd he go into that whole spiel about the warranty? Well, because I'm not looking to sell you a product that I know that the factory is going to warranty out at 5 years. We don't care. What we want to do is sell you a product that we know is going to deliver on what you're looking for. The BassRESTOR comes with the clip detect. It comes with all the other fancy features about auto detect, auto load resistance detection, which is extremely important and mostly in the Rams. That's one of our highest sold items, and the load detection for the Rams is a must. The BassRESTOR also allows you to go in low level. So if you already say you already have a LP72 or whatever you may have, and you just want to be able to benefit from the bass, and I'm going to call this, it's not what it's called, but I'm going to call it, it's a bass DSP. It's the BassRESTOR is basically a DSP for subwoofers. What it does is it takes the signal, the high level signal, remember we talked about that, the high level signal, and it allows you to modify that frequency. It allows you to add non-existent bass. So if you have songs that just don't have bass, if you have a factory amplifier that just doesn't have bass, if you have a really bad problem of bass roll-off, this is the unit for you. And the reason being is because you can plug it in, you can hook it up to your O-scope if you have one, or your DMRTA if you're a shop and you're carrying the DMRTA. If you're not a shop and you don't have a DMRTA, this will take the Link RC, and the Link RC is WaveTech's gain remote. It's a 2-set dial remote. Well, let's see if this will focus. Right here. So you have your main and then your secondary adjustment. And what this will allow you to do is it's going to allow you, once you've set up your width, your frequency, and the effect that you want this to do, how you want it to affect the bass, it'll allow you to use that to increase or decrease just that bass frequency margin, that range, away from everything else in your audible system. It does come with low level out up to 10 volts. It will take up to 40 volts of input, and it works between 15 hertz and 100 kilohertz. It also does, like the LC2i Pro, like the LC7i, like any other device out on the market, the Link 2 does provide remote turn on for you through the audio detect. And what that does is as soon as the radio comes on, the unit comes on. You're not have to worry about your speakers coming on when your vehicle is off because there's no signal from the speaker wires, thus your unit won't be on. It's a great little unit. It's on the expensive side if you're going to compare it to its little brother like the Link 2, or if you're looking at something like an LC2i Pro. But if you're honestly looking to get the best possible bass response, bass control, and all you're doing is adding bass, this is where you want to spend your money. If you're just testing because you're not sure if you want to add a 4-channel or not, then the Link 2 is your way to go. The Link 2 will all the same give you 10 volts of output, will take 40 volts of input, has your clip light so you know when your signal is bad, you have your gain, and you're ready to go. You really honestly couldn't get easier. Your frequency filters will be on your amplifier. Set the low pass filter, set it to 70 or 80, depending on what you like, what your subs are set up for, and you're good to go. And vice versa. The LC2i Pro, same exact situation. You set up your tuning, you got load resistance detect, you got GTO, audio turn on, you got your ground oscillation options in case you're getting a little bit of noise there on the system. Go ahead and give those a try. Those are always a good place to start before you go hunting down whether it's your ground wire, or whether you just have a bad power cable, you have a bad pair of RCAs. Check your ground isolation. If that doesn't take care of it, then you're going to want to check your ground wire as far as any minimal drowning noise. You're also going to want to make sure you don't have ANC. ANC, active noise cancellation. We won't go into that in this video, but I am going to make a video because LLJ Customs is the biggest manufacturer and distributor of ANC bypasses in the world. So with that said, it's time to introduce the Elite system. We talked about what a T-harness is for, signal. We talked about high level and low level. So that's something that's going to go across different platforms, whether you're talking an amplifier or a processor. And now we're going to talk about what the Elite system and what's so special about it. So the LC2i Pro on our Elite system T-harness. Let's go ahead and say you bought it with a Bose, right? But the time has come. We're upgrading vehicles. We no longer want a Bose system. Well, here is our 2019 to 2025 T-harness for Aqua Intense for all GM vehicles, Cadillac, Buick, GMC. And what this allows you to do is it allows you to take your Bose plug and unplug it from our harness. These little tabs, I already released them. And you can take what you already paid for, the accessory, your unit, and you can just buy the base adapter and plug in the base adapter to your existing harness. And bam, you have new audio in a new vehicle with your existing equipment. So if this is plugged into amplifiers that you just bought 2-3 years ago, maybe the vehicle is leased, maybe you travel a lot for business and you just want something that'll plug and play and you don't want to cut into your wires, or maybe you're just the kind of person that doesn't want to void their warranty. You're going to go into something like this LC2i Pro or a Link 2 or a BassRESTOR or a Link DQ. You also have the option of going into something like an LC7i. The LC7i is a unit that is ideally used for multiple amplifier installations. Why do I say that? Well, because you have 6 channels. You have your front left driver, front right passenger, rear driver, rear passenger, and then you have your subwoofer left and right in this situation. The LC7i allows you to chum, it allows you to sum, it allows you to separate, it allows you to set the individual gain output. Again, the gain is important because maybe your subwoofer amplifier can take 8 volts of low level and your 4-channel might only take 2 volts of low level. So it's extremely important that you match your equipment. Whether you're matching the LC2i or you're matching an LC7i or a BassRESTOR or a Link 2, whatever it is you're doing, a JL Fix 86, whatever else you're doing, you want to make sure your stuff works. Furthermore, the way that we jumper and the way that we tie, and this is how they come when you buy them from us, by the way. If you buy the LC7i and the harness, we completely take care of everything, whether it's the wiring, whether it's testing the unit, turning it on, making sure it works, the remote turn on. We test absolutely everything before it leaves the shop. And again, it's a T-harness. In this situation, and this is back to what I was saying about the T-harness just provides signal. In this situation, you're going to get the signal up into here, the turn on up into here, and then once you go from here low level out to your amplifiers, the speaker wire that would go from those amplifiers is going to have to be returned by you through speaker wire. You're going to run that down your vehicle left and right side. You're going to run it through the door boots. You're going to get it into the speaker. Then you got to connect it to your speakers. It's a mess. It's a headache. If you've never done it before, you're going to regret not doing a loop harness. It's honestly if you could have a shortcut through life when you're doing something and it's not going to have a negative reaction, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't take it. The T-harness is great for those people that maybe already have ran their system or maybe just don't trust the factory wiring, whatever might have you. the T-harness is here for you. And the way that this would work, and say into 2 amplifiers, I'm going to back this up and zoom those out here. The way that this would work is, let's say we have this Rockford. This is a 5-channel. For now, let's pretend it's a 4-channel. And then you're going to have your mono amplifier. This is a, these are the R2 250X1, and this is an R2 750X5. In this case, I want to demonstrate with some RCA cables how that would work. So again, we have our main input channel. This is going to be 1 and 2. And that's going to go to our fronts. And then we're going to have 3 and 4. Awesome. And then we're going to have our mono amplifier. So that's 5. That's 6. Oh, look at that. I managed to get all the black shrink tube on the right side. And then, oh, that's the pass-through. So we're going to go right there. Awesome, guys. So here, so sorry about the short RCAs, and now they look kind of wobbly, but I wanted to try to fit this on the camera. So in this situation, you have a processor that'll, any amplifier, so whether this is equipment that you already own or this is equipment that you just bought, low level is going to work. Low level has been around since the beginning of time, the beginning of the amplifier, and so you're not going to have that issue when you go from something like this into maybe existing equipment you already have. Now, I'd say that most any amplifier produced after late 2018, early 2019, if they're a brand that considers their customer, they're going to have high level. So again, do your research. Whatever you are going to go with, make sure that you know what you're doing, that you're able to install it. And if not, make sure you have a shop around you that is certified in these products. Call these companies. These companies will tell you, hey, yeah, you know, this shop is certified. So with that said, let's introduce the simpler solution to all of this. We're going to take all these steps. We're going to take the loop harness. We're going to take the LC7i. And we're going to take these RCAs out of the equation. So we're going to completely delete this in between here. Let's keep that one nearby, please. I'm going to need 1 set of RCAs. And bye-bye LC7i. LC7is are amazing. Those things are workhorses. So let's talk about the LC4800. Now, if you were going to come to me and say, Luis, what is the best unit? What is the best setup that you could have? And my answer is going to be audio control. It's always going to be audio control. When it comes to subwoofer processors, the BassRESTOR, you just can't beat it. But when it comes to amplifiers, features, capabilities, accessibility, you cannot beat audio control. You just can't. You can't beat any of their amplifiers. You can't beat the technology. You can't beat the customer service. So why is this amplifier a be-all, end-all? Well, it's really simple. The LC4800 is an amplifier that has an LC7i built in. For this video, we're going to go ahead and just go over the kind of the broad strokes, if you will. So the LC4800 gives you your protection, whether you know it's a bad ground, bad power, or it's whatever you messed up on, it's going to let you know. Whether you have power, you have your GTO, which is your great turn on. Your great turn on is what uses that DC offset. DC offset is a 5 volt, is a 2 to 5 volt circuit that is pushed through the speaker wires that is used for the vehicle to acknowledge that its circuitry is in a complete is connected. In other words, if I send a signal from A and expect it to come back to A, that's what that signal does. This picks up on that, lets the amplifier know it's time to turn on. You have front high input. The front high input is what I like to call chime control. It works perfect for controlling the chimes, especially in the GMs, GMCs, the Silverados. It's amazing. The Cadillacs, the Fords, the Rams. It's a tool that's almost worth the amplifier alone. You have your AccuBass, of course. We went over that with the LC2i Pro. You have your high pass filter, high crossover frequency. All right, let's talk about that. High pass, low pass. There's a rule. When you're setting your high pass, Wherever you set it, anything higher than that will be what's played. When you're setting your low pass, anything below what you set it to is what's gonna play. So if you're low pass for subs or for a mid-range, whatever you're doing, if you set it 70, the only frequencies that are gonna play is 70 and below. Your high pass, if you set it to 100, the only things that are gonna play is 100 and above. That's how that works. I know that's a question you guys ask a lot, so I decided to throw that in there. You have your summing and your separating. Your summing is basically what the amplifier wants to do with the signal you're feeding it. Do you want to sum it and create one big conglomerate of channels, or do you already know what's coming in here if you have like a DSP version and you want to isolate it and only use that in a specific output? We won't get too much more into that because it's all pretty much the same stuff. You have clip detect for the individual channels, which I think is a must. It lets you know what you're actually doing. It lets you know where you're actually tuning. It's not just one light that starts blinking and you start going, well, what the heck does that mean? Audio control also has a set of lights inside that will SOS. They will flash into a pattern that goes into the menu, and it'll give you a great idea of how to diagnose any issues that you have with the amplifier. We've sold probably thousands of these amplifiers, and I'd have to say in the past 4 years, we've gotten 2 back. Yeah, 2. So, same thing can go for WaveTech, same thing can go with the LC2i Pros. We've been doing this for a while now. We've been selling the LC2i before it was the Pro. And I think we had maybe 3 or 4 of those ever come back. So, the loop harness. The loop harness takes the signal, right, from here. We talked about. Here's our 2019. If you're not into the 2019s, maybe the GMs, maybe you're into the Fords. Here's our 21 and up Ford. Again, the Bose. You have your Bose harness. You have your black and gray for your 2019 as well. These are all options. You have your green for your 2014 to 2019 GMC, Silverados, Cadillacs. And then if you're a Ram guy, if you're a Jeep, if you've probably have one of these bad boys, 52-pin connector. These are good, anything from Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, from 2013 all the way up to 2020 now. And then that green connector you guys saw on the LC7i, that's for the 2020 and up models. So again, this can plug in here. You can go from your T-harness, take this from your T-harness, and plug it into your loop harness. Or you can take it from your loop harness and take it to your T-harness. Then you also have the fact of, well, you're gonna go from an older vehicle to a newer vehicle, or you're gonna go from one brand of vehicle to another brand of vehicle. So that's why we created the Elite system. It's gonna be the ultimate system. If you guys have seen the Wagoneer, if you guys have seen the new 22 Silverados that are coming out, if you guys already own a Ram, you guys already see that there's absolutely no benefit for changing out your head unit. There's companies out there like White Audio Media, allow you to change the coding of the vehicle. They allow you to change the digital specs, if you will, to add functions like video viewing, add additional cameras. So if you guys have a question about that, if you guys want to go, if you guys have a 2014 Silverado to like a 2019, and you guys want to, increase the screen size or change out your HMI or whatever it is, those are the guys that'll help you with the decoding and stuff like that. So check them out. That's White Audio Media. As far as the loop harness goes, you have, back to the LC7i, provides signal, and it gives you a return. So in this situation for the loop, we're gonna take the signal that comes from our head unit, we're gonna feed it in, it's going to go into the LC4800. The LC4800 is going to process it, you're going to tune it, and then it's going to output right back to the factory speakers. And it's going to go back to the factory speaker locations. Let me just zoom you in on this wire here. So it's going to go back to the factory speaker locations, where you can use one of our speaker adapter kits, or you can use a pack adapter kit, or you can use a Metro adapter kit. They sell the little harnesses too. They're 12 bucks, 15 bucks. And that'll allow you to basically create a full plug-and-play system. From your head unit going into the loop harness back to the speakers, and then the speakers, connect to these little plugs that connect to the factory plug in the door. and you have 100% full plug and play system that when you sell that vehicle or that vehicle breaks down or whatever may happen, you want to pull your equipment out, it allows you to. It allows you to reuse your equipment. It allows you to take that stuff out of where it's at and put it somewhere else with minimal interruption and with minimal, minimal use of your time. So that's kind of the loop harness. The loop harness is ideal for 4-channel installations. A big feature when people ask, well, why do you like audio control? Why is audio control such a great end-all be-all? Well, this 4-channel amp, like their D6 1200, their L.C 6 1200, the D4 800, the L.C 513, and the D5 13, they're all going to give you a line output. And that line output is extremely important for the people that want to do a 4-channel now, but eventually plan on adding a subwoofer amp in the future. The reason being is that that low level allows you to have a slot where you can connect your RCA cables, bring in your mono amplifier, right? And now you're plugged in. So now you have your 4-channel and you have your mono amplifier all hooked up in your system, ready to go. And you don't have to add anything else except the power wire and then, split the remote turn on from here into here to turn it on. The loop system is the beginning and ending of audio installations. It's a harness that's going to give you every solution that you need. If you're in a situation where you have crossovers, we do offer the component option. We call it a component add-on. And what that'll do is it'll take this white and gray and we'll run 2 wires from here that'll come over to your crossovers. I'm gonna make another video about this, just a real quick overview. It's gonna go over to your crossovers and then your crossovers will output to here. It'll come back down and then you'll also have an orange and red wire, which will be the tweeter outputs from the crossovers that are also run through the harness. And what that allows you to do is it allows you to mount your crossovers, again, in the back of the vehicle or underneath the seat or wherever you're putting this equipment, and you don't have to worry about putting your crossovers in the doors. You don't have to worry about putting your crossovers in the dash. You have everything nice, wired in one location. You don't have things all over the place. And it comes all nice and loomed and tied up. We have, flex PET, abrasive resistant. We use watertight with glue built in, a shrink tube to make sure nothing moves, everything stays in place. Obviously, we brand our harnesses with our logo. We use OFC 300 volt, oil resistant, fire resistant wire. So if you guys have more questions on the loop harness, if you guys, aren't sure if we missed something, please let us know in the comments. That said, you guys give us some feedback. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like the video, dislike the video. It lets us know whether this type of video works for you. And then if you want to stay up to date, subscribe or just visit us every now and then. We upload a video every other year. So let us know. Thanks, guys.